get you home at 11 o'clock. But 11 o'clock was early for me. I drop her off and then I hit the streets. Don't look at me weird. You did the same thing too. All of you did. Where is a hijacker? You have to win in your mind before you can win in life. Now, listen to this. It may be hard to write it down. What you think is connected to what you do. I'm going to give you time to write that down. What you think is connected to what you do. And what you do is connected to what you'll have and what you become in the process. Now, why do we believe in prosperity? Because you live in an economic world. You know, I wish things were free. I swear to God, I don't know why they cost so much money. I've spent millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars preaching this glorious gospel. I was paying a TBN over $1 million a year. I was paying Daystar $750,000 a year. That's just two of them. That's not, and I'm on 41 platforms. I mean, I'm talking tons of money. It takes that much money to get the gospel out. Why do you have to have a plane? Because Delta can't fly my schedule. Southwest can't fly my schedule. They can't do it. Otherwise, I'd have done it. And then you're going to get persecution. But see, when your mind is so vision-minded, they can say what they want. All it is just a duck flying by you. You just keep going. So you can complete that destiny. There's two people you got to satisfy, God Almighty and yourself. And when you understand that, what you think is connected to what you do. And what you do is connected to what you'll have and what you'll become in the process. Now, let me throw a little business in this so you can understand. Because I believe in taking business and the anointing and mixing them. Because the Bible said he's made us kings and priests. See, the priests sometimes don't know what the king is doing, and the king sometimes don't know what the priest is doing. But you get them together. And then you're going to get where you're supposed to be. I said this last night, and it's Habakkuk chapter 2, if you want to turn to it, or Habakkuk if you've been to Bible school. We call it Habakkuk, but Bible school calls it Habakkuk. Chapter 2, verse 1. Look what it says. I will stand upon my watch. Look at me. Do you know where your watch is? I ain't talking about your watch here. Where you're supposed to be? I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower. You're going to get in a high place so you can see things. And we'll watch to see what he will say unto me. Don't that sound like Jesus? He said, I only say what my Father says. I only do what my Father says do. That's St. John chapter 12, verse 49 and 50. That's what made him a success. I only say what my Father says, and I only do what my Father says to do. And back to Habakkuk 2, verse 1. And we'll watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. Which means there's nothing wrong with being reproved. That's keeping you straight in the narrow. Yeah, because sometimes you can walk off and get yourself hurt. I'll never forget one time I went to South Africa and I preached. I had a glorious meeting there, me and Kathy. And I never take time. I've been all over the world. I ain't seen nothing other than maybe a convention center. And I just back on the plane, boom. But Kathy said, listen, and I was invited to one of them jungle parks, whatever you call them. Lana Lose, is that the name of it, Kathy? He said, you'll see lions and leopards and hippopotamus and giraffes. And I said, oh, okay. Elephants. And I thought, I got to see this. So they rented us, I had this beautiful, like a little house. And the chef would come to the house and cook dinner for us. But we were not allowed to leave the room without calling the front desk so they could bring two people at work with shotguns and rifles. Because you in the wild. Now, the week before that, some stupid woman, she said, I'm going, I don't care, I don't need to wait on them. And a lion attacked her and killed her. You're in the wild. So we listened to that. And they said to remember that thing they told to put over the bed? You cover that up, man. So you had to, because when we woke up that morning, I mean, they got the biggest bugs you ever seen in Africa, and they're just looking at you. Oh. Cat said, I got to go to the bathroom. Do it here. I ain't going out there with them big bugs. Huh? I mean bugs that big. I mean big bugs. But when the light would hit them, they'd scatter. So we went out there. And we saw lions and hippopotamuses and, leopards. Boy, I was so amazed. Monkeys, bunch of thieves. He said, close your door, they'll steal you blind. And monkeys were rough, boy. I'll never forget the monkey, demon-possessed monkey. I mean, just steal you blind. Well, the last trip before we would leave, we went out there, and you sit in an open, what do you call it? Looked like a Range Rover with no top on it. Whatever you call that thing. So we sitting there. Are you from South Africa? Africa? Kenya. That's where. Excuse me. That's where the big migration is, huh? Oh yeah, yeah. The wildebeest. I'm gonna go see that one day. Yeah. Can I bring my rifle? No. I'm just. So watch this, man. I need to talk to this lady here. It's on my bucket list. So we just going on like that, and we talking, boy. And you see this mama lion, she got a cub, she just looks at you because she thinks you part of the truck. And the truck has never been a threat. You stand up, you dead. You break that silhouette, bam, that lion got you. Boy, I was saying all this kind of stuff. And you don't mess with elephants, especially bull elephants. Well, we saw a big elephant about from me to the back of the convention center. And I'm looking at it, so it started walking. So the guy cut the switch off that vehicle, and we're looking, and he said, and it was a big tusk one. And I thought, man, look at this magnificent animal. My God. Well, he got about from me to where the cameras are. Everybody turn around here on the front. You see where the cameras are? That's about from, we're in the car, so about there. So the man says, well, you respect that elephant. You get out of his way. He just pushed down a tree to let you know he can. And he just do it. So he goes, the battery's dead. What was you thinking? I wanted to cuss. That's what I was thinking. What I was thinking is, how do I get the hell out of this? But an elephant can outrun you. And he's 8 tons. And the guy says, don't move. I ain't moving. The elephant comes up there. Remember that guy? I'll never forget that as long as I ever live, Lord Jesus. And he comes down the side, and he just looks. And I'm watching his eyes, And he comes to me. Takes his trunk. Puts it on my chest. Rubs my chest, I guess. I'm going, oh. I try to give him a smile. And his trunk's wet, I don't care. And the driver, he said, don't move, sir. I ain't moving. He just touched me. And then he man, that trunk is heavy. He rested on me and just looked at me. And I just looked at him. And I thought, I'm going to pet this trunk. It may be the last thing I ever do. And I put my hand on his trunk, and I did this. And he did this. Saliva all over. And then he raised his trunk. He put it down. He looked at me. And he walked off. And that guide said, you never know what an elephant's going to do. I've never seen him do that. I've never seen one do that. He must really like you. I said, well, I got a lot of people in my family just as big as elephants. I'll tell you one thing. I'll never forget that as long as I ever live. What was you doing? I was watching him. Then I said this last night. A business person looks at facts. Should. But a visionary looks at faith. Because, see, faith is beyond facts. See, faith is not future. Now faith is. It has the ability to create a future, but why would you use it when you want it now? Everybody wants it now. We Americans, we want it yesterday. See, the visionary, that's you, must maintain a high level of thought. Write that down. A high level of thought. This is done, how you do that? Through patience and confident anticipation. Yeah. You remember that a commercial with the ketchup bottle? Anticipation. Remember that? And we just hold it. You know, I went to Switzerland. The craziest thing happened to me while I was there. I was preaching for Peter, and he says, you want to go up the snow mountain in the Swiss Alps? I said, yeah. Boy, that's a beautiful place. If I ever would retire, I thought I'd go to Colorado. I'd go to Switzerland. I'd go to Zurich. I'd go up the mountains. I just love it. So this lady, we started to get a cheeseburger, and she said, how much ketchup you want? I've never had anybody ask me how much ketchup I want. You know, because the ketchup bottle's on the thing. How much ketchup you want? I said, excuse me? How much ketchup you want? It's 75 cents a pack. Mustard's 50 cents, 55 cents a pack. You don't get a bottle. In fact, I said, well, you pay for everything in Switzerland. I said, well, I'll take 3 packs of ketchup and 2 packs of mustard. Yes, sir. Charge me that. I've never forgotten that. I don't know why, but I've never had anybody ask me, how much ketchup you want? I learned something that day. Bring your own bottle of ketchup. If you're a ketchup person, you know. A visionary must maintain a high level of thought, and it's done through patience and confident anticipation. You see, to run this vision, how many of you want to run it? You have to be the head of it because it's your vision. To run a vision, we must have unity and the joy of confidence. It's the attitude of expectation. Knowing that you are going somewhere to do something with results. Let me say it again. To run a vision, we must have unity and the joy of confidence. It's the attitude of expectation. Now, how do you do that? You submit your will to God's will. You know, Brother Keith, so excellent in his service today. Jeremy, too, my Lord. He said, what's the will of God for man? I'm going to tell y'all what the will of God. Listen to me. All of y'all, listen to me. I know the complete will of God for everybody in this place. You ready? You going to write it down? Genesis chapter 1, Genesis chapter 2, and the last 2 chapters in the book of Revelation. That is the will of God for mankind. Did you get that? Genesis chapter 1, Genesis chapter 2, and the last 2 chapters in the book of Revelation. Between them 4 chapters, look at me now. Between these 4 chapters is 1,186 chapters of killing, stealing, and destroying by an arch enemy called Satan. Between those 4. But Jesus is coming back. Amen. Oh, let me say it like a brother. And Jesus, I said, they're coming back. Yeah. Hey, coming back. And we going back to Genesis chapter 1. Look at me, everybody. Genesis chapter 2 and the last 2 chapters in the book of Revelation. That's the will of God of man. So, live long and prosper. Did you get it? Study those 4 and you will find out the will of God for you. That's the will of God for mankind in every which way, shape, or form. I'll never forget one time God told me, he said, Jesse, make me wealthy. I thought, well, look like to me you ain't doing too bad. Gold streets, diamond barrel, jasper, onyx, ruby, mansions, pearly gate. He said, Jesse, I don't count my wealth that way. I count my wealth. Whew, this touches my spirit when he told me that. I count my wealth by the souls I possess. Make me wealthy. Ladies and gentlemen, you ain't going to believe it, but it's the truth. From January 2020 to the end of June of this year, 2026, we've had over 126,872,472 people have contacted our ministry. We are working 24/7 to service it. We ain't got time to do nothing but work. And when you get busy, you ain't got time to sin.
That's right.
You're not even thinking about sin. You don't have time for that kind of stuff. Partnership, I have a little over 422,000 partners. I'm not lying. If you come to my ministry, go in the executive office, and Fritz know what I'm talking about, you go in there, you see just halls of pictures. They send me pictures. And all over the wall. And I get in there sometime 2 o'clock in the morning and I pray for a party. Oh, Jesus. And it's so nice. I've had people say, I'm a partner with Kenneth Copeland, I'm a partner with Jerry Savelle, and I'm a partner with you, and I'm a partner with Jonathan Shuttleworth, and a bunch of other people. And it dawned on me, I said, well, that's That's the scripture. And God is able to make all grace abound toward you, you always having all sufficiency in all things may abound to every good work. You must grasp the promises of God with a submitted will. Yeah. Now I can just go on, but I'm just giving you a few things. Doers make the world go round. You know what we do? We write about them. Doers. That's James 1, chapter 1, verse 20. Be therefore a doer of the word, and not a hearer. In other words, go do something. What is your destiny? Where are you going? Where's your gift? Do you know your gift? That's what you've got to find out. Because if you don't know what's inside of you, what makes you think you can make somebody believe in you or in the vision God has told you? I say it all the time on my broadcast television to all the partners, people. I said, I trust you. You trust me. And we both trust God. I never forget one time I was at John Hagee's church. I love John, you know. He's a blessing man. And the who's who of the preaching world was there. Boy, I mean, you name them, they were there. They were the big boys, you know. And I'm just a squirt, you know. I'm a peanut. So I shut up. Hey, that's my good friend right there. I just shut up and I was going to listen. And they start talking about what's the biggest donation anybody's ever given your ministry. You know, so I never said nothing. I'm just sitting there. And I'm sitting right next to John, you know. And some of them said, well, $1 million. I thought, wow, that's nice. You know, some said 100,000. Some said 50,000, 10,000. And I thought, man, this is great. Everybody listening like y'all. When you mention figures. And then John spoke up. He said, hey, Jesse. And I said, shut up, John. Just saying. Hey, Jesse, what's the biggest donation you've ever had in your ministry? And I looked at them all and I said, trust. Not trying to be humble here. Trust. And I looked at all of them. I said, don't never break it. Because if you do, you may never get it back. Or if you do get it back, it may take a lifetime. The Bible said, trust in the Lord. Do good. What makes a good marriage? Not money. Trust. Me and Kathy can agree to disagree without being disagreeable. We actually argue the Word of God. She's wrong. She said, no, you're wrong. I said, no, you're wrong. And the Lord said, both of y'all wrong. That's to give us a revelation, you know, because she'll come up with some things, and I go, wait a minute. Wait. You know, she'll make me study, and vice versa, you know. She knows my gift. When we built that church, she said, we're going to build a church. I said, woman, we are not building no church. She said, we're going to build a church, and your job is to pay for it. That's my gift. I didn't argue. I said, okay. Paid cash for it. The whole thing. Been debt-free since 1982. Everything you see, you can't touch anything in my ministry that's got a note on it. If you send $20 a month, $6 of it don't go to pay some interest on the note. Not wrong with borrowing money. Well, Brother Copeland don't like that, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, God gave me an option. He said, how do you want me to pay for this, Jesse? I can pay it every month, or I can knock it out. So I thought I had God over a barrel. I said, well, since we're talking, let's just knock this puppy out, which is millions and millions of dollars. He said, then we will never discuss finances concerning this project ever again. We built for 4 solid years. I wanted to go look at that building fund, but I never did. And when we finished and walked in there, and I had 2 people to satisfy, that woman right there and God Almighty. It was completely debt-free. And I love what a little child said to me. I didn't say it to me, I heard it. It was a little girl, she looked at her mama, she said, Mama, this church is debt-free, isn't it, Mama? And these people go to our church. This is when she was little. She said, yes, Pastor Kathy and Brother Jesse, it's debt-free. She said, then we don't have to pay for it at all, do we? She said, no, we don't. She said, that's good. And then I chirped in, yes, it is. Now that girl's grown. And it's just such a blessing to be able to leave a legacy like that. You see, when you understand that. I want to get to this point here. What time is it? I don't want to take much of her time. If you want to be on the right path, write this down. You need light. That light is a relationship and a fellowship with God. I would tell everybody here, let me say it again. You write it down. If you want to be on the right path, you need light. That light is a relationship with God. But you need more than relationship. You need fellowship. Hello, Jesus. Hi, Jesse. Well, since Carolyn said, me and Jerry Savelle had fellowship. We didn't have a relationship. Yeah, I mean, we were friends. Well, we had fellowship. You should have seen these two boys hit Hawaii, me and him, by ourselves. My God, we landed in Hawaii from preaching for Brother Cole. And Jerry said, we got 24 hours. He said, you know, if I come back here, I'm going to be governor. I said, okay. He said, let's hit this place. I followed him. I called him Mr. Vuitton. I mean, that man had more Louis Vuitton stuff you ever seen. Everything you could think of, you know. And we hit all of Honolulu in one day. And they called me Jerry, and they called him Jesse. I told him, this is how you can tell. He's skinny and I'm fat. That's how you know. And not long ago, last time I was in Hawaii, and I missed walking down those paths. You know, we used to walk all the time, just go down to that place where them rockers are. You know, Carolyn's the one who showed us how to do that. You know, man, this is a nice place, you know. Sit there and just enjoy ourselves. You know, drinking coffee with your finger up. And I don't like coffee, you know. So, but, I mean, I like the smell of it. A man hollers at me, hey, Brother Jerry. This was February of this year. I turned around. He said, man, I watched you today. I said, did I bless you? He said, you really blessed me. I watch you all the time. I can pick you out of a crowd of 1,000. First thing I thought in my mind, Jerry got fat. And I said, thank you, man. What a blessing. I appreciate that. I never told him any different. I don't even know if he knows if Jerry went home to be with the Lord or not. I don't know. But his legacy was there. Jerry's still preaching. Now, you might see him on television. That's great, but what he produced is still there. See, vision never dies unless you kill it. I told a person this the other day. I'm going to close with this. I said, if I don't do some things I want to do, my spiritual sons and daughters will. But it's going to come to pass. My theme, use your faith voice. It not only makes things possible, it makes things inevitable. Get that in your mind. It's going to come to pass. You don't take no for an answer. It's going to come. It's going to happen. Why? Because God gave you the gift to complete it. That's why you don't hear Paul crying when he says, we're going to kill you tomorrow, Paul. Okay. I fought a good fight, didn't I? Whew, I finished my course. I kept the faith. There's a crown of righteousness for me. And I have met the Apostle Paul in the year of our Lord, 1988, when I went to heaven. I've been in his house. I've sat on his windowsill, and we talked the word of God. So I don't believe it. I just don't care. But it happened. He's about this tall. He is actually shorter than Jerry. Now, I'm taller than Jerry, but maybe a couple of hairs. I look about like this. You know what he told me? This close. Jesse, what are they saying about my gospel? He knew my name, sir. I said, man, I preach everything you say. You come back, you can get me for copyright infringement. I'm telling you what, I steal everything you say. He roared, he laughed. Then he said something. He gave me a job. He said, you know when I wrote, our light affliction is but for a moment? I said, yeah, that's in Corinthians. He said, Jesse, the church made it a lifetime. And he leaned over to me like that, man. He said, change it back to a moment. And when I left that place hours later, The Apostle Paul was standing there. Abraham was standing there. Jonah was standing there. King David was standing there. He's the only other man I knew that had a crown on his head other than Jesus. But he is the king of Israel. And they said, Jesse, we're going to see you when you get back. And I looked at Paul. Whew. That touched me. He said, remember what I said. Change it back. I said, I will. That's why I hit things with joy. I don't like to talk too much about it. It's sacred. It's vision. My last point, vision must always be continuous and never interrupted. So when I got a young preacher talking about what he's going to do for Jesus, whether it's a woman or a man, I said, tell me your vision. I get excited. And don't let no one ever, ever stop you from it. Amen. Hallelujah. I'm Jesse Duplantis, and I approve this message. Thank you. I can't tell Nancy Dufresne do what she wants because that's her own ministry, but I know she's got a great word, but she may flow in the Holy Ghost. I want to give her that time. They want me to receive the KCM offering. I told that to, who was it? Someone back there. They said, Brother Jesse, would you receive the offering? I said, yeah, I'll take it home. No. So I got to read this piece of paper. Now, I don't know what the offering was. I got to find out what it was last night. And I hope we had $1 million offering. If we don't get to that, we'll get it today. It's just that simple. I love offerings because it's my favorite time. Not because of money. You missed the point. It's because you're doing something from a God who needs nothing. But you do it because you love him. Don't you love it when a kid will run into the house and when they're playing in the yard, you run in the house and say, love your mama, love your daddy, and out the door they go. That's amazing. I love to bless my daughter, Jody. She's going to be 55 years old. She can't get up. She said, Dad, can you believe you got a daughter going to be 55? I said, yeah, I was there when you was born. You're the only Texan in our family. You were born in Arlington Memorial Hospital. I was there. Your mama was on drugs. She was knocked out, man, just had that baby. Man, I was trying to get this. I said, I need some of that stuff, man. I have never seen work like that. For those in the room, often I want my ushers to get ready. You can tap the seat in front of you. Don't tap a person, tap the seat. I have no idea what that means. For those in the room, you can tap the seat in front of you or follow the instructions on the screen. If you would like to give by check, make your checks payable to KCM. If you're giving cash and would like an envelope, please raise your hand. People, ushers, go to work. There's people lifting their hands. If you're watching online, text event to 36609 or online kcm.org/event. Or you can use the phone 817-566-7777. Or you can do like I do. Use the post office. You mail in the check to Kenneth Copeland Ministry, Fort Worth, Texas, 76192. It's all on there. And I ask you to do your best. I am believing God for one day of these believers' conventions that everybody at one time will give $1,000. Now, I don't know how many people we got in here, but that'd be a lot of money. Why? To preach the gospel. I know one thing about Kenneth Copeland, he ain't going to touch it. Gloria's not going to touch it. I know this ministry. I know what it does. And I know the anointing, the blessing is on it. But I'm going to tell you, and it sounds arrogant, the anointing of increase is flat on me like you have never seen. And I mean that pridefully. It's just the truth. I mean, it just is. Because God trusts me. and I trust him. I want every ministry to never struggle with finance. Why would you do that? Well, you don't know how much it costs. It don't make no difference to God. You don't hear him struggling. You ask him for $100 million, he don't say, no, they're going to get crazy with this thing. Yeah, let's get crazy with this thing. Because if you think you can touch the world with $100 million, you done lost your mind. I thought that years ago. I went to the Lord and said, I need $100 million. You give me $100 million, Lord, in this ministry. I'll tell you what. Or give it to me personally. One day, I'll touch this world. He gave it to me. $100 million. I was back the next year. I said, I think we need another $100 million. That's true. The Lord didn't quiver. He went, okay. I went back 5 times. He gave me $500 million. Liquid. It's not enough to touch this world. It's going to take trillions. Things are expensive. That's all right. What's the value of a soul? What's the value of a soul? Well, one thing I know about Brother Copeland and his KCM is they love people. They work 24/7. That doesn't mean the devil hadn't fought. And a man almost 90 years old still doing this. And sometimes it isn't easy. But that don't bother him. Yeah, give him a hand clap. That's a fact, son. That's worthy of your support. I ask nothing of myself. And me and Kathy don't ask you to do something we haven't done. I would never do that. That's rude to tell somebody to do something that you won't do. Like one man told me, well, you know, I'm called to the man. I gave my life, but so did everybody else. You're just trying to get out of giving something. And it's good soil. Wouldn't it be nice to do the next Believers Convention in heaven? Yes. I know where you could do it. If Brother Copeland, you're watching with the camera. I know where. I've been there. It's in paradise. Before you get into the Jerusalem, turn left. There's a huge, beautiful green grass. Oh, with amphitheaters all over the place. This is nice. You got to go. I ask you to do your best. Oh, I feel good about it. Yeah. Thank you, Lord. He said, tell them if they'll believe you, I'll bless them before the end of this convention. Things they never thought possible would come to pass. I'm telling you, man, I know what I'm talking about. You'll get to a point that you have to watch what you say, and then you'll take it to another level. You have to watch what you think, because God hears you think, Terry. You talk about a vision board? That's a vision board. You think it, it's yours. I told that the other day to Kathy. Her birthday's coming up. I said, what do you want? I didn't say what you need. I ain't going to give her a washing machine or a vacuum cleaner. What do you want, Kat? You can have anything. One time she was going to the Alamoana Mall, and I was watching LeBron James on ESPN, and he was mad and arguing about something. You know? She wanted me to go. I said, honey, I want to watch this game. She said, okay. And so she walked, and she got to the door. This is the Leahy Towers, 05 room. We learned that from Carolyn and Jerry all these years. And I went, hey, Kathy. And she looked at me and said, try to break me. She said, what? I said, try to break me. Give it your best shot. Anything you see, buy it, because you cannot break me. You know, that was 9 o'clock in the morning. She called me at 8:30 p.m. that night. That's 11 and a half hours in a mall. And she said, meet me at Bubba Gump's. So I got me a cab, and I went to Bubba Gump's, and I'm thinking, man, I better get me a truck. An 18-wheeler, ain't no telling what this woman bought, you know. I got there, and I said, where the bags? What's that? She said, I didn't get nothing. I said, you've been here 11 and a half hours, woman, and you hadn't bought nothing? She said, no, I was scouting out the land, but tomorrow cometh. And did it come? Taxi cabs. I'll never forget one of them taxi cab drivers. He said, I'm so glad y'all come to Hawaii. You have helped the economy of the state of Hawaii. You ready to give? Go ahead and do that right now. Ushers, would you go ahead and receive? And you that are watching online, you know what to do. And let God, and get it, and believe God that you can come. And I'm going to make this enough. The Southwest Believers Convention, after we finish, they're not over. They're just going to do something to this area here. But we're going to be in that big, huge room back, which is almost as big as this, you know. So we're still going to have them and all that kind of stuff. And while you're doing that, I think we got one of the finest women preachers coming up. I knew her husband. In fact, the last words I said to him, he asked me about a Falcon 50, which she flies. Well, he wanted a Falcon 50. He said, Jesse, you got a Falcon? I said, oh, yeah. You know what it costs to fly, blah, blah, all the typical things that you do. That was at Happy and Jeannie Caldwell's church way back when. Of course, he went to heaven, but it didn't stop his legacy. Didn't stop his vision. Jerry went to heaven. Didn't stop his vision. No, none of that. If I go by the way of the grave, it ain't going to stop this vision. See, it's God-given and God-centered. Stand to your feet right now. Hallelujah. Now, did you do what God said to do on this offering? Because he watches offerings. He does. Not because of the money, but because of obedience to it. To his word. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can I introduce this wonderful lady? Live at the Southwest Believers Convention in Fort Worth, Texas. Miss Nancy Dufresne. Give her a hand clap as she comes.
Hallelujah. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. Good afternoon, everyone. Give Brother Jesse a great big God bless you today. Brother Jesse, we love you. I just got back from his visionary conference and I took notes. I wanted to preach it, but since you had already done it, he said something. He said, if you'll get so full of your vision, you got no room for depression. Love you. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. How many of you say the Lord is good? And his mercy is for me. Right now. How many of you say today is my receiving day? Hallelujah. I'm expecting to receive all God has for me. And I'm here to take it. Hallelujah. Turn around and give 3 or 4 people around you a great big God bless you, then you can be seated. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. Well, let me look at you. You're so beautiful. Oh, my, my. We want to say a great big welcome to the Daystar viewing audience. Thank you, Daystar, for being with us during this week, and it's just a wonderful time together. I, of course, want to say a great big thank you to Brother Copeland, Sister Gloria. My, them in our lives. When you hear them preach, they sound like home, right? Yes. And the day my husband went home to be with the Lord, my husband and I had Dad Hagin as our spiritual father for decades. Then he went home to be with the Lord. Then my husband was that to me. And then the first thing I asked God the day my husband changed addresses was, who is it that's going to be speaking into my life? And there were so many precious ministers that called me that day. But Brother Copeland called only moments after my husband's passing. And God said to me, of all the people who called you, who had your future in their mouth? And I said, well, I know who that was. And that was Brother Copeland who prophesied to me that day. And really, everyone needs somebody to speak into their life, someone they'll listen to. Because when you listen to someone, you'll find your future in their words. And you'll gain clarity of what you're to do. When people are wandering and trying to find where to go, I always encourage them, who's your pastor? Who's your pastor? Because as a congregation member, your pastor is that voice. As a minister, you need somebody that knows God better than you. And so Brother Copeland has been that in my life, and I am ever so grateful for that, for him and Sister Gloria. And we're here today because of the faith of brother and Sister Copeland. And I'm not willing to do without divine connections in my life. What about you? Yeah. I have my family here today. I brought my oldest son and his wife. Stand up, Stephen, and Morgan over there. And they travel with me and help in the ministry. Then my son Grant is somewhere. I don't know where he's at. He was in the back. Where is he? Oh, he's over there. There you are, up on the platform. Because he's now the pastor of our church, and we're just so grateful to run our race together. Amen. And it is my complete honor to be with you today. And how many of you say, I brought my faith ears? Yeah. And we're going to find out what God has for us. How many of you know it's something good? Yeah. Praise the Lord. Go with me, if you would, to Matthew chapter 9. Matthew chapter 9. Matthew chapter 9, and we're going to start in verse 1. It reads, and Jesus entered into a ship and passed over and came into his own city. And behold, they brought to him a man sick of the palsy lying on a bed. And Jesus, seeing their faith, how many of you know your faith can become visible? How many of you know you're to wear your faith on your face? Don't wear your opposition.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, you're not the carrier of your opposition. Put on Christ every day. Because if you don't, you'll end up wearing the wrong thing. So he saw their face, but he saw their faith. And he said unto the sick of the palsy, Son, be of good cheer, thy sins be forgiven thee. And behold, certain of the scribes said within themselves, This man blasphemeth. And Jesus, knowing their thoughts, said, Wherefore think ye evil in your hearts? Look at this. For whether is easier to say, Thy sins be forgiven thee, or to say, Arise and walk? And we know he rose up and he walked. But look at this. He said, which is easier to say? What he's talking about, cleansing a man of sin or healing a man's body. Which is easier? Neither are hard. He didn't say which is harder. He said which is easier. Why? Because all is easy with God. All is easy, easier, easiest. It's not harder, hardest. It's easy, easier, and easiest. How many of you know that's the life we're to be living? The easy life. Yeah. So he said, which is easier, look at this, to say. Yeah. You know what makes it hard? You're saying. You know what makes it easy? You're saying. You say it's going to be hard, it's going to be hard. You say it's easy, you make it easy. Amen. Because everything with God is easy. You think it's hard for money to come? The more you think about money, the harder it comes. The less you think about money, the easier it comes. Yeah. For which is easier to say. Why? Because everything we expect is what we receive. So decide what you face is easy for God. See, the thing is that sometimes we recognize it's hard for us. We're not factoring in us, we're factoring in who's in us. So talk about the one in you, that he's the one in you doing the work. The reason Jesus pointed back to the miracles all along through his earthly ministry, he said, my Father in me, he does the works. He constantly put the pressure on the Father. He constantly magnified his union and his fellowship with his Father, that the Father was the one doing the work through him. If you're going to magnify you, go ahead and talk about how hard. But if it's him, talk about how easy. Amen. Hallelujah. So he says, whether is easier to say. So whether something is hard in your life or easy is all up to your saying. Yeah. And your saying is going to take on your thinking. I don't know about you today, but I've come this week to change. I've come to change. Why? I want to come up in my thinking. I want to come up in my speaking. I want to come up in my believing. I want to come up in my doing. What? Into an easy flow. Because the easy flow is higher. The low flow is hard. The flesh flow, the mental flow is hard. Brother Jesse was talking about the Falcon 50 that our ministry has. And every time the pilots, before we take off, they come and tell us how high we're going to be flying. Yeah. Why is that? Because that's going to determine the ease of the flight. Yeah. Well, I want you to know, he says in his word, Psalm 91, the Amplified Classic, verse 8, I am inaccessible in the secret place of the Most High. Now, if you're going to stay low where opposition is, it's going to be hard. But if you're going to talk about I dwell in the secret place, in fact, I am a secret place because I am the temple of the Holy Ghost. And I'm not trying to get in his presence. I just turn toward his presence. I turn toward the one that's in me. I don't have to earn it. God said to me years ago, living in my presence does not come by earning. Talking about if you read your Bible enough and pray enough, and we should do those things. I'm not belittling that, but we don't earn him. We turn to him. And I don't try to take time to get in his presence. I just step in and say, I'm here. Amen. No matter what shows up, I'm there. I'm in his presence. I'm inaccessible, is what the Amplified Classic says of Psalm 91, verse 8. Inaccessible in the secret place of the Most High. So you can live there. That's the easy place. So if life is hard, you're invited to a higher place. You already occupy it in the spirit realm because you're seated with Christ in heavenly places. So just go ahead and think there. Just go ahead and speak from that place. Just go ahead and function from that place. Amen. Now, how many of you know that Jesus did all the hard work? He left us the easy work. I said he did the hard work. He left us the easy work. The devil's always wanting to try to pull you in a fight. You're not fit for that fight. Jesus already won that fight. I'm not fighting the devil. I'm not fighting the devil. What I am fighting is to not be swayed off of my victory ground. I already have the victory and I refuse to be swayed. And everything he threatens me with tries to sway me off of my victory ground. But the fight is to hold your thinking right. The fight is to hold your words right. The work of faith is saying. Because we're created in the image of God. And what does God do? Genesis 1, God said, light be. That's the work of faith. He demonstrated the work of faith. And then with his arm, he performed it. But he said it, then he did it. I want you to know that's the divine order. People are wanting something, but they haven't said something. The divine order is you have to say it, then it's done. You say it, then it's done. You say it, then it's done. Then what's Matthew 8:17? Himself took our infirmities and bare our sicknesses, right? But what's the first part of that verse say? That it might be fulfilled, which was spoken.
Yes.
That it might be fulfilled which was spoken. Yes. Know this, that the unspoken goes unfulfilled. Yes. But the spoken is giving God an assignment.
Yes. Yes.
So that which is spoken, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet Isaiah. What was he? A man. You're a human, you know? And you can say some things and assign the power of God to where you need it. Yeah. And people are waiting on God to do something, and He's waiting on them to perform the act of receiving. How do you perform the act of receiving? By what you say. You say. You know this, Abraham, it says, God spoke to him when he was 75 years old. I'm going to make you a great nation. Many nations are going to come out of you. And it says, and he believed God, and it was accounted to him for righteousness. He believed, and it was accounted to him, but it wasn't fulfilled. It wasn't performed until 24 years later. Abraham believed for 24, can I say this? Abram believed for 24 years. But until he said is when he became Abraham. And Abram never received Isaac. Abraham received Isaac. What was the difference between Abram and Abraham? His name. What was it? He started calling himself. So God saw he's got faith. He believes, but he's missing a very vital function here. And so he tricked him into being effective. With his faith. And he said, I tell you what, I'm going to put the calling in your mouth through your name. Yeah. And so 24 years he believed without receiving anything. Wow. But within 3 months of his name changed, guess what? Wow. Guess what? Sarah's pregnant. Yeah. What's that mean? Once you start calling, it doesn't take long. 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 Well, how long do I have to call? How much do I have to call? How often do I have to call? How bad do you want it?
Every second.
Yeah. And Abraham, God changed his name. How often did he use his name? Daily. How often did he hear his name? Daily. How often are we to call? Daily. Yeah, why? Because he loads me daily with what? There's so many benefits, one day can't hold it all. It's going to take day after day after day after day. And thank God Amazon is helping that. Same day delivery, baby. Click it. Yeah, when I'm gone on the road preaching, I just need to have Christmas every time I come back. In case you didn't know it, I like stuff. You know, other people, their love language is what? Words or acts of service. Those are great, but give me stuff. Yeah. Give me stuff. Give me stuff. I want something tangible. I want something I can put on. I want something I can wear. And I don't want it to have a cord attached to it. I don't want it functioning. I just want it sparkling. Just a little bit of help for you. But know this. Within 24 years of believing, but not till he called. Why? Because faith comes by hearing. Faith comes by hearing. Faith is not released by hearing. Yeah, it came and it came. He heard God multiple times, but it wasn't released till he called. I call my body whole. I call the finances. I call the right home. I call the right business. I call all the right employees. I call the customers to come. They come at my call. Why? Because that's the work of faith. And when I call, God performs what I call with his power. Yeah, I'm not the manifester. And you know what the devil's always going to try to do to you? He's always going to try to get you into God's part. Because you start trying to touch into God's part and your faith will fail. Because you don't have faith for God's part. No, you got faith for your part. What is God's part? Well, Mark 11:24, what's it say? What's it say? Therefore I say unto you, what things soever you desire, when you pray, believe that you receive them. Stop, you're done. You're done. The next phrase, and ye shall have it. That's God's part. That's God's part. And what does the devil always want to get you to do? When am I going to have it? When is it going to show up? Get out of God's part. The manifestation is God's part. You're not the manifester. And the devil wants to try to get you touching into when's it going to manifest, how come, who's he going to use, where's it going to come from. Stay out of God's part so that you won't injure your faith. Amen. What's my faith? What's my part? I believe, I receive. I believe, I receive. And I want you to know it doesn't say believe it's manifested.
Yes.
Isn't that interesting? He doesn't say that you're believing it's manifested. He said you're believing you receive it. Receiving is an action of faith. It's something of your spirit. Your spirit has to receive it before this realm will ever manifest it. So you always receive first. It's the spiritual action. It's something you do with your own spirit. I believe, I receive it. Now God will see to it that it manifests. Because I receive it, at the point I receive it, I'm authorized to call it mine.
Yes, Lord.
I don't wait till it manifests to call it mine. It's mine the moment I receive it with my spirit. And when the devil says, when's it going to happen? Say, devil, it's not my business. I believe. I have already received it with my spirit. My faith hand is on it, and I'm not taking my faith hand off of it. When's it going to show up? Devil, that's between me and God, not you. Don't let the devil talk you out of something he's not involved in. Yeah. Now go with me to Matthew chapter 11. Matthew chapter 11, verse 28. How many of you say what Jesus said is right? Yeah. Matthew chapter 11, verse 28. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden. What's that mean? If you're heavy, if you've been heavy laden, you veered from him.
Right.
Come back.
Come back.
Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden. Look at this. And I will give you rest. You don't have to earn this. I'll just give it to you. And then he says this, take my yoke upon you and learn of me. Learn how I do it. Learn how I flow. Learn how I think. Learn how I speak. Learn how I move. For I am meek and lowly in heart, and you shall find rest unto your souls. Look at the place where you lose your peace is in your soul. Yeah. The arena the devil's after is your soul. He's after your mind. Because wrong thinking is his open door. And he's going to spend your whole life trying to get you to think wrong. But that's why we renew our mind, because it brings us into God's thoughts. And when we think like God, the door is open to him. Yeah. And then it says, and you shall find rest unto your souls, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. The flow of this world is a hard flow. Get out of it. The mental flow is a hard flow. Get out of it. The reasoning flow is a hard flow. Get out of it. That's the way the world is doomed and sentenced to live, is out of the futility of their minds. We're raised to a higher place. We get to go to our spirits where the faith of God abides, where the Word of God resides, and we get to live out of that place. Yeah. So the flow of this world turns things hard, but Jesus offers us the light and easy flow. If it's not light and easy, guess what? We're doing it wrong. And the devil's not our problem. Yeah. I can't tell you the number of times Dad Hagin taught us so often about the sin of worry. Yeah, the sin of worry. And he taught us, how do you know if you're worrying? If you're thinking about it. Anything you're worrying about, that's a sign you're holding it. So he says, casting all your care on him. Why? For he cares. He'll fix it when it reaches his hand, but if it's in your hand, he can't fix it. And worry is a sign it's in your hand. Yeah. Let me give you this illustration. Years ago, I was about 8 years old. And, what? 3 years ago. I'm 64. I don't give a rip. I don't care. I'm fixing to turn 65. That stuff does not matter to me. So I don't care what, if anybody starts, you know, my sons ever stop trying, baby, you're going to have to find something different to poke on because that's not my button. But I was about 8 years old living in this little town called, well, first it was Olustee, Oklahoma, a couple hundred people, more dogs than people, and because we didn't have fences. And then we lived in, and then we moved to Altus, Oklahoma, and our neighbors came to my mother one day. My mother worked, you know, my dad was a farmer, and we didn't get to we didn't go on vacations. Mother said, you don't go on vacations when you owe a man. Yeah. That's just the way we were. You didn't go on vacations. You owe a man. You don't spend his money on your holiday. That was, so we didn't go on vacation. So I'm making up for it now. Yeah. Just doing things, you know, just going places, doing things, obeying the Lord and goodness. Can I tell you this, preachers? God's not a hard taskmaster. He's not holding your nose to the grindstone. That's right. You need to enjoy your life as you obey Him. And you're not the Savior, so you're not the only one preaching it. Pace yourself for the long run. Yeah. And so anyway, the neighbors came and said, Carolyn said, we're going to go to the carnival that's just come into town. We'd like to take Nancy if you'd let her go. Mother said, yeah, she can go. And Mother said, let me give her some money. So she gave me a quarter. Yeah. Some of y'all remember the quarters, you know, that's about all you got. And so others wanted to get on a ride. I don't want to ride. I don't want to ride. I'm not interested in the ride. Where's the jewelry booth? Where's the jewelry booth? And I found a jewelry booth, you know? And so I took my quarter and I put it on the counter. And I said to the guy at the jewelry booth, what will this buy me, you know? And he cut that to the proper length and put a charm on it. And I put that thing on it. I'm good to go. I can go home now. I got me some jewelry. And so I slept in that. I took my baths in that. I mean, that thing didn't come off for weeks because you need jewelry. And so after about 3 weeks or so, the whole thing, there's knots all in the chain. You can imagine how knotted it was. And so it was so hard to get off and on because it was such a little clasp, and so I'd taken it off. And I was, you know, doing the best I could to get it out. You jerk on it. That's what you do to get a knot out. You jerk on it. So Mother walked in right while I was, you know, fixing my chain. And she said, what are you doing? I said, I'm getting the knots out. She said, no, you're not. You're putting them in. And she said, if you'll hand it to me, I'll fix it. So I handed it to her. And then while she's got it, she takes out a straight pin. And she just little by little starts working those fine links out. And I watched her undo the first and the second and third. All the way, there's about 6 or 7 of those knots in it. And I see her almost done. And she's almost got the last knot out. Well, I want to finish it. You know, there's something about you want to finish it because you see it's working. And so I reach up and I take it back real quick from her. And I start fixing it the way I fix it. Start jerking on it. And she stood there in absolute disgust and said, if you'll put it back in my hand and leave it there, I'll finish it. But if you're going to take it back, I can't help you. That's called casting your care on Him, for He cares. And leave it there. Let Him fix it. Don't take it back because it looks manageable to you now. Because He wants to keep us in the light and easy flow. I said the light and easy flow. How many of you know being led by the Spirit of God is the light and easy flow? Following the Holy Ghost. Being led every day of your life, the Holy Ghost will lead you into the light and easy flow. If you're going to follow your mental arena, if you're going to go to the middle arena and try to calculate it out, reason it out, it'll cheat you out of the light and easy flow. But God didn't offer anything hard for us. The Word says that the way of the transgressor is hard.
Yes.
So if things are hard, where have we transgressed? Yeah. We've either transgressed His will or we've transgressed His way of operating. Yeah. And so And so being led by the Spirit of God, can I tell you, somebody asked me, when my husband went home to be with the Lord, there were about 8 large projects that had to be completed. He'd been trying for 5 years to get them done. And in those projects, 2 of them were completing buildings. So I'm talking about large projects. And each of them were, if I could say this, financially linked. That if one project failed, it would have a domino effect. And so I was dealing with banks. I was dealing with cities. I was dealing with a lawyer. I was dealing with people that had far greater education in those arenas than I did. But I walked into every meeting with the advantage. Why? Because Jesus said it's expedient or to your advantage that I go away because I'll send the Holy Ghost. They walked in with their education and I walked in with a seat. The seat of hearing. And the day my husband went home to be with the Lord, I only made one decision. Father, I'll only do what I hear you say. I don't have to be an expert. He's the expert. You have a divine genius in you called the Holy Ghost. Why turn to your mind and then you turn away from the genius within your spirit? No wonder life gets hard when we just go by what we have learned instead of what He knows. And so within 1 year, every one of those 8 projects were finished, and they were all paid off. $6.5 million that we were left responsible for within a year. Why was that? The Holy Ghost. He gives you the light and easy flow. I want you to know, a light and easy flow was not offered me the day my husband left, but I chose. I choose the flow I move in. I don't care what's offered me. I choose where I go. I'm not going into grief. I'm not going into sorrow. There's no help there. There's no honoring my husband in that flow. The way I honor my husband is do what he preached, do what he put in me, do what he taught me. That's the honor. Carry on with the vision. That's the honor. And I want you to know, grief and sorrow are so devastating, it took the Godhead to deal with it. You can't deal with it. It'll give you the hard flow. Yeah. But it says over in Isaiah, it says that He bore our sickness and disease. The Amplified says He bore also our distresses. Anything that distresses, I refuse. Your distress, not taking it. Somebody else's distress, not mine. I didn't sow for that, and I'm not reaping it. Don't bring that bad harvest to me. I didn't do it. You're not taking your distress and making me responsible, because I'm redeemed from that which would distress. Why? I have divine help. You have divine help. Don't live distressed. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. But a pastor asked me, he said, Nancy, how were you able to finish? You were at a transition when your husband's passing, but you had those projects to finish. How were you able to do it? I said, it was very easy. That was not a hard year. That was not a hard time. You want to know why? One thing, I just heard. That's all I had to do was hear. That's all I had to do was hear. I don't write sermons, I hear them. I don't find and search for words, I hear them. I purpose to live my life hearing. Hearing. Can I tell you this? Faith doesn't decide, faith hears. If you're going to decide, you're going to find yourself in a hard place, because you have to hear. Faith comes by hearing. And hearing by the Word of God. You have to hear what God's saying to you. You have to hear what the Spirit is leading you to do. And I just followed what He said. Yeah. And you say, well, I don't hear Him. Can I tell you this? You probably hear and don't recognize Him. Because can I tell you what the voice of the Holy Ghost sounds like? Peace. They shall go out with joy and be led forth with peace. If you got peace in your spirit, that's the Spirit leading you to do it. If you got peace in your spirit to do it, do it. But you say, Pastor Nancy, I got turmoil in my head, but peace in my spirit. Ignore your head. That's the hard flow. What do you have in your spirit? Follow it. Jump in, both feet loaded. If you got peace, jump in and do it. Amen. That's how I heard. I have peace about this. I have peace about doing that. Then I'm doing it. Because the Holy Spirit's voice is peace. Yeah. Sounds just like peace. Hallelujah. How many of you know hearing turns everything easy?
Yes.
People say, well, I'm struggling. Why? All you got to do is hear. Take time to hear. Quit deciding and then calling it God. Don't take the name of the Lord in vain. People think that taking the name of the Lord in vain is to use it profanely. It means to put His name on something that didn't come out of Him. It came out of you, out of your imagination, out of what you planned, out of you thought. Then you say the Lord said, and then it becomes hard. Then you say, well, I don't know why it's hard. Well, just learn that He leads by peace. He does. Faith doesn't come by deciding. It comes by hearing. Amen. Yeah. Praise the Lord. Amen. God turns, when God says something, it turns everything easy. Amen. When He said it. Yeah. You know, my husband and I, we have quite a unique story of how we met. We met at a meeting, a church service. He started calling me 2 weeks later, and 3 weeks later, we were married. Don't do that. That is not marriage counseling. You say, don't do that. Was it hard? No, it wasn't hard. You want to know why it was easy? Because I heard God. I was going down the road in my car, and He said, He's going to be your husband. And the minute He said that, I didn't even know. I had been with Him like 3 times. And He said, He's going to be your husband. But instantly I was in love with Him. Why? Because with the words came the future. Yeah. And so we got married. Almost 30 years, heaven on earth. Why? Because we heard. If you hear, you can quit making wrong decisions. Value hearing more than deciding. Once I hear, I still have to agree, though, with what I hear. I don't alter what I heard. I don't adjust it to suit me. But when I hear, I agree. Hallelujah. So know this, when you've heard from God, know this, the opposition is going to come and try to talk you out of it. But when you've heard from God, that is your answer to the opposition. That if the devil would have ever said to me, which he didn't, you married wrong. Too late, devil. God already said. God already said. That's why you have to hear before you move, or you have to have peace about something. I mean, I bought a house in Texas. I'm so glad. I was a Texas resident for a year. I enjoyed it. Still got the house. Going to keep it. And the first day after we bought it and I arrived at the house, the devil said to me, you just made a wrong move. And I said, devil, I had peace. I didn't hear words. I had peace. And I said, I had peace. That was God talking. And that answered everything. Because you're going to have to know what God said to you, because you're going to have an answer ready when the devil opposes you. Yeah. Hallelujah. When God says, it turns everything easy. Did God say that's your house, then it's your house? Even when everything says it's not. And if God said start the business, there's all the faith in there to start the business. Just believe what God says. Yeah. Healing is easy. Supply is easy. Obeying God is easy. Everything God's connected to is easy because He's doing it. Yeah. Hallelujah. Go with me, would you? Let's go to Numbers 13 and verse 30. Numbers 13 and verse 30. You know this passage, how Moses sent spies in to spy out the land. And then they came back with their reports. Numbers 13 and verse 30. And Caleb... It says in verse 30, and Caleb stilled the people before Moses. and said, let us go up at once and possess it. Why did he say that? Before your mind kicks in.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed if God tells you to do something, you're to do it right then, and you know you're doing it then? The more you delay, the more you're troubled, because you gave the devil time to trouble you. Yeah. Let us go up at once. When you have it in your spirit to do it now, because you can have things sown in your heart for years and it's not time, but when it's time to do it now, do it at once. And possess it, for we are well able. We are well able to overcome it. Look at Numbers 14. Just flip over another chapter, Numbers 14, verse 8. And they're continuing to talk to the congregation about why they need to do this. It says, if the Lord delight in us, then he will bring us into this land and give it us. When God gives it, it doesn't matter who's slow to cooperate. Once God gives it, you're authorized to know it's yours. Then he will bring us into this land and give it us, a land which floweth with milk and honey. Only rebel ye not against the Lord, neither fear ye the people of the land. Look at this, for they are bread for us. Their defense is departed from them, and the Lord is with us. Fear them not. Look at this. He says we are well able to overcome it. Caleb and Joshua settled this before they went and saw the land. If you're going to wait until you see the enemy before you decide, you have to settle it on what God said. God said it's ours, it's settled. So that means what you see won't sway you from what God said is yours. And it says he will bring us into the land and given it to us. They weren't going to go have to win it for themselves. You don't have to win it for yourself. Can I tell you, your redemption is a gift card? Anybody ever been given a gift card?
Yes.
But you know what you have to do with the gift card? You have to go claim something that's already been paid for. How many people don't use their gift cards? It's already been paid for. Show up and claim. Pick what you want. Yeah. And it says, if the Lord delights in us, is what they said. What's that mean? How do you delight the Lord? Without faith, it's impossible to please Him. If we'll stay in faith and not come out of faith. It says, only rebel not against the Lord. What's that mean? Don't believe something different than what God says. You're going to hear something different than what God says. Don't believe it. That's called rebelling. It says, neither fear the people of the land. What's that mean? Don't let fear in. Your opposition is going to show up and threaten you. Don't let it in. You don't have to go there. And then I love this. They are bread for us. You know what's on most people's tables at dinner time? Bread. Don't you like it hot? Joshua and Caleb said they're bread for us. We're going to eat them and get stronger. We're not going to run into them and grow weaker. We're going to come into that land and we're going to get stronger. The more of them there are to eat, the stronger we get. They are bread for us. Your opposition is for your strength, not for your defeat. It's for your strength. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Now, every answer to any situation you're facing in life is easy. You say, Pastor Nancy, my situation's so complicated. Only on this side, not on God's side. Everything is so easy on God's side. And Jesus said, if you're under weight, if you're under burden, come to me. Come to me and get in the easy flow. Get in the God flow. How is He leading you? Do what He's telling you to do. Because nothing, and we know this in Jeremiah 32, there is nothing too hard for God. What's that mean? It's all easy. Yeah. So you decide, no matter what I'm facing today, it's easy for God. Quit calling it hard. Quit going to bed with a hard pillow at night. Call it easy. Yeah. Can I tell you this? Don't you think that the fall of humanity was a pretty big deal? How long did it take God to turn that? 3 days. To fix the fall of humanity. 3 days. How easy, how quick was that? Jesus paid the price. It was hard on their side, but not for us. Is your problem bigger than the fall of mankind? Let's bring it back into perspective, right? My mother, there were 4 kids in our family growing up, and my mother would say this when, we'd come in with some kind of tragedy that happened, life-changing thing, something that happened while we were playing on the playground. And Mother's ready answer for all 4 of us was, no big deal. No, Mother, it's a big deal. No big deal. If you told Daddy how bad your leg was hurting, he'd say, come over here, I'll cut it off and it won't hurt again. You just got no sympathy. And I'm so glad, because sympathy's a killer. It'll kill your faith. It'll kill your advancement. It'll kill your vision. It'll kill your dream. And Mother had it in her mouth. No big deal. And I want you to know the devil is always trying to show himself as a big deal. But can I tell you this? He is no big deal. He is no big deal. He is no big deal. Jesus reduced him to nothing, shattered him. Amen. Defeated him, rendered him helpless. And he's demonstrating that victory through us. That we go around showing the world the devil is no big deal. Opposition is no big deal. What's the big deal? I'm in Christ. I have been born again. The blood of Jesus gave me a brand new life, a brand new beginning. I'm in union with the Father. You're in union with the Father. The blood of Jesus is a big deal. Your healing is a big deal. Your victory is the big deal. Amen. I love something that Jesus said in Luke chapter 11, verse 20. He said, but if I with the finger of God cast out devils, no doubt the kingdom of God is come unto you. Look, with the finger, think of it. Sit in Texas. And you sit outside, and you're just sitting on the back patio or somewhere, and a fly lands on your finger. You don't have to get your whole body up and deal with that thing. All you have to do is do this. And the thing's gone. Right? Jesus said, when devils are involved, God just... It doesn't require his hand. It doesn't require his wrist. It doesn't require his arm. Just, it's so easy. I said it's so easy. What's that mean? Flick it off. Flick it off. Yeah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Yeah, it talks about in Isaiah that we will see the devil narrowly as he is and say, is this the one that deceived the nations? And you could say, is this the one that held sickness on me? Is this the one that kept me broke? Is this the one that I let my home be divided for? We need to see him now as he really is, so that we quit giving him place and quit giving him credibility. Yeah. I mean, even in the book of Revelation, when it talks about, John said, and I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and put a seal on him. Look at that. An angel. One. An angel. Did not even record his name. An unnamed that is back in the ranks. Low in the ranks. Not Michael, not Gabriel. An unnamed. He probably has a name, but he's not even named. Because the devil doesn't get a name. I want you to see your victory is so great. Your victory is so easy. Your victory is so easy. Amen. Your victory is so easy. Can I take a few minutes and just tell you this? Jesus, in dealing with the sick, he made it so easy when they came up. And they'd tell him the situation, Jairus, and he just starts walking that direction. Why? Jesus diffused the activity. He gave the devil's activity no attention. He wasn't flippant about their needs. He wasn't flippant. But he was so aware, this is no big deal. This is no big deal. Let me just read it to you. The nobleman's son, on his deathbed, Jesus said, go thy way, thy son liveth. 6 words to change death. Amen. Woman caught in adultery, facing stoning. Yeah. Go and sin no more. Yeah. Oh, that's it? Okay. That wasn't Jesus treating sin lightly. He was so kind that the kindness dismissed her from a lifestyle of sin. He wasn't winking at it. He met it with kindness, not leniency. Yeah. Then he said to the leper, facing a tormenting death, and he says this, I will be thou clean. 5 words to change your future. Yes. Yeah. Lazarus dead how many days? 4 days. Stinking. Yeah. Lazarus come forth. 3 words. 3 words to change everything. Yeah. 10 lepers, go show yourselves unto the priest. 6 words to give them a brand new start in life. Yeah. Blind Bartimaeus, go thy way, thy faith's made thee whole. 9 words that put back what he was never even born with. Wow. Woman with the issue of blood, thy faith has made thee whole. Yes. Go in peace. 9 words to reverse 12 years of suffering and financial suffering. Yeah. The cripple at the pool of Bethesda, rise, take up your bed and walk. 7 words to get you up off of a bed. Yeah. And now you're carrying what used to carry you. Yeah. The deaf and dumb man, be opened. 2 words. Devil, you're worth 2 words. Sickness, you're worth 2 words. You're not worth a lifetime of suffering. Isn't that what Brother Jesse said that Paul told him? Tell him to turn it back. Not a lifetime moment. Jesus took everything down to a moment. Changed everything in a moment. Why? The easy flow. The easy flow. The madman of Gadara, go. 1 word. Huh. Yeah, look at that. A storm threatening to sink the boat with him and the disciples. Peace, be still. 3 words to put faith back in those disciples. Yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine, and they had a relative that was in the hospital during COVID. The doctors had given up on him. And they were laying there in the hospital bed, and Jesus at one point was standing at the head of his hospital bed. And the man had a vision, and God showed him in the spirit realm and showed ranks of demons dressed in dark fatigues. And they were in rank and file and order and marching toward him. And he recognized them coming closer and closer, and he knew that once they got there in proximity, that he would die. Right. And he recognized Jesus was standing right there at his head, and he's thinking, Jesus, deal with him. Deal with him. Jesus, deal with him. He's thinking it. And Jesus isn't dealing with it. So in a desperation, he said, I resist you in the name of Jesus. Yes. And when he said that, they just immediately, about face, and every single one of them walked off. And Jesus stood there and said, now, wasn't that easy? It's easy. Your healing is easy. Why? Well, for one thing, it's already done. It's just waiting for you to go get your gift card turned in. It's already paid. Just go collect it. I love something that Oral Robertson, reading one of his books from the 50s. Well, it was later. It had to be in the 70s because the prayer tower was built. And he said he had all the partners' letters that he had received, at that time laid out before him, and he was reading through their difficult circumstances. He said heartbreaking situations, heartbreaking stories. And he said, I was praying so hard for these people, and I was just feeling what they were feeling. And he said, I was praying and praying and praying and praying so hard. And he said, all of a sudden, God spoke to me and said, don't pray hard, pray easy. I'm the one that does the work. You think he needs your hard praying. No. It's faith that prays easy. Yeah. It's the mental arena that prays hard.
Hallelujah.
I want you to know, you don't have to believe hard, believe easy.
Thank you.
You don't have to give hard, give easy.
Thank you.
You don't have to receive hard, receive easy. Hallelujah. 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 Remember Jehoshaphat in the army. God said, you don't need to fight in this battle. This battle's not yours, it's the Lord's. So he said, go out tomorrow and set yourselves. They weren't going out to fight. What were they doing? They were going out to praise and gather.
Yes.
Can I tell you, Jesus said as Jonah was in the belly of the whale 3 days and nights, so the Son of Man will be. 3 days in the middle of the earth. What is this? He wasn't down there seeing who's going to win. He was down there gathering it up. Everything Adam lost, he's gathering it back. He spoiled principalities and powers. He made a show of them openly. And then he showed John, I've got the keys of hell and death. Amen. How many of you know he did the hard part? The only part left for us is easy. And if we're doing it hard, we're doing the wrong part. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Are you helped today? Stand with me if you would. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Say this with me. Everything that God has already made mine, it's so easy for me to receive. I receive it right now. I take it right now. It's mine right now. And I'm enjoying it. And all that's left for me to do is I say, thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father, that it's mine. Thank you, Father, that it's mine. Thank you, Father, that it's mine. I have it now. I have it now. I have it now. I call it easy. What I face is easy. What I need, it's easy for God. Hallelujah. Just raise up your hands if you would, and let's worship the Lord. Lift up your voice. Praise the Lord. Y'all can go ahead and you can play. Yeah, praise the Lord. While I was walking yesterday, that healing anointing started flowing, and I understand how he deals with me regarding healing. So those of you, if you say, I need healing in my body, just raise your hands up right where you're at. Raise up your hands real high. We thank you, Father. How many of you say, it's so easy for God? It's so easy for me to receive. Hallelujah. So I speak, Satan, you take your hands off God's people. You take your hands off their body from the top of their head to the soles of their feet. And I say, for the healing power of God, flow in your body from the top of your head to the soles of your feet. Receive it now. Take it now. And all you have to do is say, I take it, Father. I take it, Father. I take it, Father. I take it, Father. I take it. I take it. It's mine right now. It's mine right now. It's mine right now. Hallelujah. Do something you couldn't do. Move something you couldn't move. If something was a difficulty before, move it around. If something was limited, move it around. Hallelujah. 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 Praise the Lord. Thank you, Father. Praise the Lord. Just raise up your hands and worship Him.
Mention His name, and sickness must go. Stand on His word. It's our Father's will. The work has been done. I'm already healed. I'm already healed. I am made whole. I mention His name, and sickness must go. Just stand on His word. It's our Father's will. The work has been done. I'm already healed. Yes, I'm already healed. I am made whole. I mention His name, and sickness must go. I stand on His word. It's our Father's will. The work has been done. I'm already healed. Come on and sing, I'm already healed. I am made whole. I mention His name, and sickness must go. I stand on His word. It's our Father's will. The work has been done. I'm already healed. Yes, I'm already healed. I am made whole. I mention His name, and sickness must go. I stand on His word. It's our Father's will. The work has been done. I'm already healed.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. How many of you say, I'm already healed? I'm already whole. I'm already supplied. Can I tell you this? I'm not waiting for a breakthrough. He was raised far above all principalities, powers, might, and dominion, and He raised me with Him. I don't know how any more through you can get than that. You're already through. You just need to say, I'm already through. I'm already through. I'm already through because I'm raised and seated with Him. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Just lift up your voice and shout to Him. Hallelujah. All right, who do I turn this over to? Praise the Lord. How many of you say the Lord is good? The Lord is good. Hallelujah.
Let's give it up for the Lord and what He just did, and Pastor Nancy Dufresne. Wow. She has become one of my favorite
Absolutely.
teachers.
Yes.
Well, you look cute. What are you wearing?
Thanks. I'm wearing this really cute merch. It's called Homecoming.
Oh, right. That's where we're at.
That's where we're at. Yes. So
Okay.
we have some.
We have cute things, and I've heard some of you are having trouble finding these cute things.
Yes.
So the big brown curtain is where all cute said things live
Yes.
for you to come
It's not an
purchase.
exclusive club. You guys are all welcome. So please go in the brown curtains because that's the partner booth as well. In the back is all of the exclusive homecoming merch. So you definitely want to check it out. We have these awesome homecoming sweatshirts. I know it can get just a little bit chilly in here. These are amazing. They're oversized, comfy, just that well-worn feel. We've got the cute little country club tote. It can
This
fit all your...
tote has been saving me. It's so big. You can just dump all the things
Literally,
in it. All
everything
the
in
things.
it.
And here's more of it on the screen. How many of y'all like that jacket? We
That's
already
crazy.
sold out of all the smalls, so
We
if you
did.
want a medium or large, you better go
We
get
might
it.
have just gotten another shipment in.
Oh,
We
yay!
might have just got another shipment in, so definitely check back. Also, we have these really cute socks. It's say Walk by Faith, so make sure you get some cute little Walk by Faith, the athletic socks.
And also, our partner booth is located. Raise your hand if you're a partner. Okay, keep your hand up. Keep your hand up if you have not made it to the partner booth. Okay, eyes are on you. Stop by because we have a bunch of free gifts for you. We want to connect with you. We want to make sure your partner information is up to date. So be sure to stop by the partner booth before the weekend.
Yes, we've got some special gifts that we want to give you. We want to connect with you and say hi.
So this year, have you seen what's been going on at the Victory Takeover? Have y'all enjoyed that? It's continuing all night. You can watch live here on Victory Channel. You can also watch on demand on Daystar. We're so thankful for our Daystar partners too.
Absolutely. Also, don't forget we have baptism Saturday afternoon right after healing school. You can sign up using the QR code that is on the screen. So if you haven't been baptized, or maybe you were baptized as a small child and it's something that you want to do again, just to renew, make sure that you sign up with it through that QR code.
And then I know this is hard to hear, but we do have to have you exit the room after the session right now. That's so we can clean up, reset the room, so the band can rehearse. And so I know that could be frustrating, but we can do it.
We appreciate you guys. But also,
that's it.
That's it.
Is that it?
Yes, it is. So don't forget that God loves you.
We love you, and Jesus is Lord.
We'll see you tonight.